Hey everyone, I'm Rennie, and I work on product marketing for Atlassian Rovo. Have you ever asked AI for help? And the answer sounds really impressive, but somehow still says absolutely nothing?
It happens
Always.
to me. Yeah, sometimes too much.
Yeah. We've all experienced it. The internet actually has a name for this, AI slop. And that's where Rovo comes in. Powered by the Teamwork Graph, Rovo connects people, work, and knowledge across your organization and the apps your teams use every day. So instead of generic answers, it understands your unique context and helps teams actually move the work forward. So today, we're going to show 3 experiences that bring this to life. And this isn't theoretical. Everything we're going to show today is rolling out to Atlassian customers now. I want to introduce all of my teammates here, Jono, Sid, and Chris. Jono, want to show us what your team's been up to?
I would love to. Thanks, Rennie. So today I want to dig into a common problem we hear from people leaders across all teams as they're deciding how to staff new projects. Answering questions like, who makes the most sense based off skill sets, capacity, and geographic locations? Historically, that's been a lot of let me translate information from one format to another, alongside getting lost in tables of dense data, which I know personally I'm not great at. That's why we built Remix with Rovo, to let you translate content into visuals in seconds. Instead of locking you into a single format, Remix with Rovo lets you take existing content blocks and turn them into visuals, like maps, timelines, charts, graphs, and more to make a story clearer. So let me show you how that plays out in a real planning scenario. Here, I'm on a Confluence page my team uses to decide how we're planning to resource the Remix with Rovo project. All the details are here: locations, start dates, role count. I select the table on the page and click Remix from the toolbar. Rovo opens the panel with options for how to transform that content. I can pick a suggestion or just describe what I want. Right now, I'm clicking Visual. Rovo generates a map that shows me the awesome folks we have across regions. It's chosen a map because we're working with where folks are around the world, so that logically makes sense. It doesn't directly add it to the page, so I can decide then if I want to make changes, like zooming in or save a copy. I can even refine it with Rovo and zoom into North America. And because I'm a visual person, as we now know, same with Sid, this is the moment it clicks. We need 40 available folks, and the majority are on the East Coast, which can be a problem for coordinating with Australia. They're pretty far apart. Now that I have a visual to tell that story, I click Insert and the visual drops right into the page alongside the original content for my cross-functional partners to consume. Notice what's not happening, and I think this is really important. Rovo isn't creating new people, roles, or dates. No AI slop here. It's changing the content we already maintain in Confluence in a way that matches how I actually think. It keeps AI inside the guardrails of your real content, so you get better understanding, not invented answers. This is for any team like yours, Rennie, that wants to turn trusted content into visuals, like a project manager spinning up a timeline chart for a launch, a tech team turning a spec document into an architecture diagram, or an ops lead visualizing procurement data as a graph. All of that can be easily done using Remix with Rovo, which to me, pretty cool. Remix lets you change how your content is presented, not the underlying facts, so your teams can see what matters and move work forward faster. And with that, I'm going to throw it over to you, Sid, to talk about what I know is a crowd favorite amongst all of us, Rovo Skills.
Thank you, Jana. Okay, so we just saw how you can remix some content to better understand what's happening, but can you actually take action on it? And that's where Rovo Skills come in. Rovo Skills is where AI stops just talking about work and actually does something about it. They're focused, repeatable workflows that let AI take action across your apps. Think about it like a tool belt in the AI era. Each skill is designed to do one thing really well, whether that's pulling insights from your data, creating release notes, or turning conversations into work items. Let me show you what that looks like. So here we are in Rovo Chat. This honestly is my favorite place to explore skills. You can browse examples filtered through roles or use cases, whatever makes it really easy for you to find something you want to work on. In my case, I work in technical marketing. A big part of my job is to take big, messy ideas and turn them into clear, traceable work. We just had a big team review, and I know that there's a lot of work buried in that conversation. Normally, I'd work with AI to pull out the key takeaways, jot out action items, and then throw everything into Jira. But instead, I can just trigger a skill with a slash command. So what I'm doing is creating a work item to break down the work discussed in our H2 planning meeting. Behind the scenes, Rovo reads the Loom transcript from the meeting and turns it into actionable work items. Now, I can just scan through the list. This one looks a little bit early, so I'll remove that. This one should probably involve some other folks, so I'll open it up and add a little bit more context. Once everything looks good, I just click Create All, and that's it. The work items are ready to go. The skill does the grunt work, but I'm the one approving what becomes real work for the team. No manual copying, no switching tools, no turning meeting into Jira work items one by one. Now let's look at another scenario most of us know a little too well, the dreaded status update.
I was dealing with this last week, so I'm very curious where you're going with this.
Feel the pain.
So yeah, you've done all the work, and now you have to explain the work. All this information is scattered across dozens of tools. It's basically a big mess. So let's see what Rovo Skills can do. Directly from here, I can trigger a skill, write status update. Yes, just that. That one skill encapsulates the entire workflow, and the context is in line because of where we invoke it from. It even knows my preferred format, quick and sharp, and behind the scenes, Rovo's pulling together everything connected to this work, docs, pull requests, meetings, messages, and summarizes the past week. And just like that, we have the status update. I can review it and post it directly to our Microsoft Teams channel. Oh wait, I'm seeing something here. Looks like there's an engineering dependency blocking our launch. Luckily, I'm sitting next to our resident developer.
Oh, leave me alone.
Well, I'll finish talking about skills, and then you can save the day. Deal? Teams are already using skills in practical ways. Support teams are using them to analyze incidents faster, pulling together alerts, recent changes, and past incidents to find likely root causes. Program managers are using them to understand the workflow and what's blocking the next status. Rennie, I know marketing's been using skills recently.
Yes, we've been using a number of different skills. One of the major focuses for marketing right now is being very data-driven. We're able to use skills like get data insights and answer questions like, how is our marketing campaign impacting monthly active users, for example? And being able to pull in data and insights directly from tools like Amplitude instead of having to go around and dig and find where this data exists has been a huge unlock for us. I can just immediately take it back into Rovo and start taking action on it.
So you can access skills from the library we saw earlier, or just trigger them with simple slash commands. You can describe what you need to get done. Rovo Skills helps you move work forward using the context from the apps that you're already in. Okay, Chris, do you want to unblock that launch?
Oh, thanks, Sid. Many developers today, myself included, have adopted coding agents to help with their projects. Unfortunately, many of these coding agents don't know your team or your projects the way you do. They don't understand your work items, your roadmap, nor your development standards and practices. Instead, you often end up micromanaging coding agents as opposed to getting your work done. That's exactly what Rovo Dev in Jira is designed to fix. It is an AI developer teammate that can take Jira work items and turn them into merge-ready pull requests. Let me show you how to use Rovo Dev in Jira. Here I am in Jira looking at a pretty standard work item. Normally, you would read through the work item, review the documentation, analyze the source code, then devise a plan. Instead, I see that we already have a Rovo Dev session tied to this work item and waiting for my input. Think of it as a cloud-hosted sandbox that has access to all the relevant context to implement this work item from the teamwork graph. You can see that Rovo Dev has already completed work and created a markdown file containing a plan for the coding agents. Inside this session, I can tweak the plan however I like. I'm still in control, but I'm not starting from scratch. I can ask Rovo Dev to load the plan into Confluence so my team can help further refine the plan. I see we have already received comments. And here's another one. Thanks, Kun and Jade. Don't you love last-minute changes? But really, it's no sweat. Back in Rovo Dev, I can ask it to update the plan with the new comments. The updates then appear in both Confluence and the Markdown file so I can immediately review the changes. Now with the technical plan refined, we're ready to proceed and generate the code for the change.
While it's thinking, you should know that Rovo Dev is not generating code in a vacuum. It's using our plan, our Jira context, our pull request, and our existing code base to propose changes that actually fit how we build software. I can now review the diff, make sure that everything looks good to me, and when I'm ready, I can have Rovo Dev open a new pull request for the rest of my team to review. Our own team uses it to automatically resolve 51% of potential security vulnerabilities. Rovo Dev is not some generic coding agent that gives you cookie-cutter suggestions. It understands your Jira issues, your code base, and your Atlassian data to produce code that lines up with how your team actually builds software.
Chris, thanks for showing us that really powerful demo. One other thing that is extremely critical that I want to mention is this all runs on the Atlassian Cloud platform, which means you get the security, governance, and controls your teams have already come to rely on with Atlassian. And that applies to everything that we showed you earlier. Okay, so you saw 3 different ways that you were able to take Rovo into your own unique workflows to help your teams move work forward. Jono showed how Remix makes it easier to get your head around complex information with visual storytelling. Sid showed how Skills let AI actually do things for you across your workflows. And Chris showed how Rovo Dev helps engineers in Jira move smoothly from issue to pull request. In every single case, Rovo worked seamlessly within the apps you already use, while humans stayed in control of the final call. Now, think about your workday. The thing that always slips to 5 p.m. The thing you keep thinking, there has to be a better way to do this. Take that one workflow and try doing it with Rovo instead. We're so excited to see how you make Rovo your own and how it helps your teams move work forward.